sincerely that you just come here and we can give you a smile, and that you'll be able to leave with a happy face on, and that you're very There will be a sermon. But before that happens, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to somebody who I've known for a long time. He's become a very good friend of mine. He's worked his way up through the comedy ranks in the furry fandom. I know a lot of you have heard about him, and a lot of you are waiting for him to see him tonight. It's going to be amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Alkaline. You know, I actually thought a long time ago, you know how you have pipe dreams when you do shit? I started doing improv, I'm like, you know, one day I'm going to be on main stage at Anthrocon, and I'm going to look into the audience and I am going to see a room full of furries. And now that I'm up here, I gotta tell you, with the new lighting rig, I can't see a fucking thing out there. It is like God's flashlight. But instead of being a cop pulling me over because of erratic driving, it's like he's going, do you know what your blood alcohol level was in college? About the same as your GPA, so cut that shit out. I just want to mention, I saw a commercial recently for a Dutch cleaner, a cleaning solution that cuts through grease, and in the commercial they said, grease is not water soluble, so Dutch cleaner makes water wetter. Now that's not the punchline, I just wanted to say that so I could see all the board of directors for Anthrocon look for Uncle Kage and make sure he didn't just have a stroke. I've been a part of the fur community for far too long. I've never really gotten to do stuff like this before. I normally do this at bars with other drunk people because we fit in together. But what I do get to do is run a lot of panels, and I've had the opportunity over the years to start many, many panels and many cons, and none of them got off to a rockier start than MST3K. Who has been to an MST3K panel? I'm so glad some of you go to Midwest cons, and you're hardcore alcoholics. Because the idea of this panel, if you don't know what that is, that's Mystery Science Theater 3000. It used to be a parody, right? It was a wonderful show, which I hear that they're bringing back, which would be really cool. But basically, all it comes down to is a bunch of people sitting in front of a screen and making fun of a movie. We're like, we could do that. We're witty and drunk. More on the latter, but we can do that. So we sat down at a panel. The first information was at IndieFurCon years ago. And as we started the movie, which by the way was Battlefield Earth. When you pick a movie, you make it a bad one. And we realized we didn't have to do anything. Because the peanut gallery behind us was screaming at the damn screen. We could just sit up there and enjoy the movie, and then 5 minutes later we're like, oh, we can't enjoy this movie, it's Battlefield fucking Earth. So what can we do? We need to come up with a creative solution. We are furries. We're brilliant in a very weird way. How can we make this panel work? And the now con chairman of IFC said we could turn it into a drinking game, and the entire audience said yes. I don't know where it came from. I looked to my right and a bar appeared. And the devil was bartending. We started drinking at 10 minutes into Battlefield Earth. The first rule that came up, whenever there's a center screen wipe, drink. Like center screen wipes, how often can that happen? Let me describe you a scene in this stupid fucking movie. I'll never forget what happened to my father. Center screen wipe, drink. I am your father, and I'll never forget what happened to my son. Center screen white drink. I'm his son, dead. Center screen white drink. I'm his father and he died, dead. Center screen white drink. We all died. That's basically the last moment of the movie we remember. It got worse. Now, Pandez is one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet. He's Canadian, which means he apologizes for everything. And for those of you in the audience, sorry, and I expect you to say it back to me later. It's kind of like in Game of Thrones. What is dead will never die. If you say I'm sorry to a Canadian, he'll just say it right back to you. What? Say to me after the show. I already don't know what I'm doing up here.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
Alkalize the sorry comedian. Pandez is sitting on stage. We finish the movie. The final scene goes, and we are glad. And we look over at him, and he has this look on his face. And we knew we had a problem. So we cleared the room. We got everyone out, and we go over to Pandez. So Pandez, we got to get you back to your room. And Pandez, who is sitting at the table. Table, you held our drinks the entire night, and I just want to thank you. You had rum, tequila, booze, condoms, lube, you had everything. And you did a really good job. Thank you, Table. Like, okay, Pandez, okay, let's go. Wait a minute. Sheriff, I'm a large man. You support me like no man or woman ever could. You really took a chair? You really took a... Oh, no, we have to get him back to his room. He's on the board of directors. We can't let people see him in their furry, so they're naturally curious. How do we get him back to his room quietly? And that's when he turned towards the door and just made a break for it. He didn't get very far, though, because he got to the door and stopped and said, wait a minute. Door? You kept the riffraff out. We didn't need you, Door, but you were there for us. Lock and key. And this is what he did all the way back to his room. There were other people sharing the hotel with us. He thanked people who weren't part of the fur community for attending our convention, and they were like, yes, we should be thanked. And we finally get him back to his room. Now, Pandez, he isn't what you would call athletic, but holy crap, if you get him drunk, he's the Incredible Hulk. And he cheated us. He went, we all went flying as he put his hand on the fire alarm. And he looked at me in the eyes and said, wait a minute. Fire alarm? We are slowly creeping towards him. We have to incapacitate Pandez. It's the only way. He's Canadian, he'll forgive us. Fire alarm? Even I'm not that drunk, and he walked into his room. Furries are really amazing. It's unbelievable. It's the best part of it. I do love the fire alarm part, but my favorite part of that is wandering around the hotel, thanking people who weren't part of the convention. Thank you for being here. Yes! We are also drinking. But never have I got to experience the divide in our community in a similar way that I did at Furriality in their first year. For those of you who don't know, Furriality broke off from either an annual convention, but basically what ended up happening was Furriality's main events was at a different hotel at a different convention. Very odd. It was weird. There was this wonderful mixing of the two, of this anime and gaming and furries, and it was kind of interesting to watch, and I really enjoyed it until I went outside for a breath of fresh air. And there were two people from this convention standing outside. Now, I'm not really If I'm at an anime convention, they assume I'm from Sailor Moon or some other gay shit. They don't know. The top hat and a mesh jacket because I like to stay cool and I'm kind of retarded. That's basically how this works. And as I walk out there, these two who are smoking, I overhear this line. I'll never forget it. Fucking furries. If we were as rich as they were, we could afford to buy really cool cosplay suits like that. Stereotyping. It's the greatest thing ever. I ran back into the video that furries are rich! It was the most animated I've ever been. And I got to talk to the person who ran that convention later, and I told them this. And they went, oh, they're not? I'm like, no, we're an entire convention of incredibly rich people who like to buy things that we're going to wear on our person, sweat through, and go, I'm cute. Like, no! We make that shit. We buy shit, we turn it into other shit, and we wear that shit. And goes, that's what we do. I'm like, I know. We're the same. It's just we like animals and you like animals. It's the same guy. You can't trick me. I was there. Like, what are you? I'm a Gundam. You are a tail. You're a furry. Shut up. That's what I thought. You haven't figured it out. I'm an idiot. I'm really, when it comes to certain things, I do have some kind of a weird intelligence. When it comes to like my personal well-being, I'm about the dumbest person you'll ever meet. And that could not be personified more than after staying up for an entire Labor Day weekend, running around with my idiot friends in the woods, beating the shit out of each other with cold weapons. Yes, I'm that kind of a nerd. I have never been cheered for that before. That is awesome. I spent a weekend running around in the forest, beating the shit out of my friends, and I got a call on Saturday at about midnight, close to it. And it was simply, you need to come home right now. Oh, well, that's a 4-hour drive. I haven't slept. It is midnight, and I'm an idiot, so let's go! All right, so I grabbed my friend, we got into my car, and we started off down, I don't know what highway number it was, I'm going to assume it was 0, because it was in the middle of Illinois, and I don't think they had lights. Like, it would have been perfect for the con theme here, because it just was out of the past, but every once in a while you'd see a windmill. And we're like, oh, we're gonna die. And as we're driving, you've all been there. You've all been there because you're furries and you go to conventions, you don't sleep because you're idiots too. Go to bed. As we're driving, I look out far in front of me, ahead of me, and it's just a long stretch of highway and a school bus. I don't like school buses. They're slow. And they have an STD known as children. I don't want to be behind a school bus. Why do I want to be behind a school bus? I'm going to pass the school bus. I don't care if this is a 2-lane highway or a 0-lane highway or a field. I don't know where I am. So I accelerate. And I try to catch up to the school bus. The school bus accelerates. Now I'm angry. I'm assuming that they're singing the wheels on the school bus, but really fast. It's like, let's go round and round. He's coming, and he's a furry. Go faster. I saw my bumper sticker. And as I start to speed up even more, school bus, a full-size school bus, is pacing me. So screw that! I start going faster and I'm going 110 miles an hour. And I know I'm going 110 because that's where my speedometer tops out. I'm staring at the magic school bus in front of me. Have you ever had that moment that moment of pure clarity. It just clicks. It's a surreal moment in your lives because every once in a while, it's like when you're in school and you finally get that math problem. It's like when you're at work and you finally understand your boss is a prick, but he's screwing the secretary and that's why she makes more than you. And I slowed down my car and woke up my friend who punched me. Rightfully slow, he was asleep. I said, you need to drive because I'm a safe, sane individual. He said, why the hell do I need to drive? We've still got hours left to go. I'm like, yep. But you see that school bus in front of us? He goes, no! I said, do you see the yellow line in the middle of the road? He goes, yeah. I go, I thought that was a school bus for the last 20 miles. You need to drive now. As I said, I did this LARPing thing. I go on the campsites and beat the crap out of my friends. I have a lot of fun with it. Thank you. But the mistake I made in my life, and this was a wonderful mistake, if you get a chance to do it, I ran the game for a while because I really enjoyed beating the crap out of my friends. It was fun. And we went so far to the point where we both in this campsite, we started a forest fire. Accident! I'm a furry, I respect Smokey the Bear. I've seen E621, he's a nice guy. Everyone who laughed at that is a bad person. I'm right. Well, because we started to actually become a bit more of a popular thing is where we don't have enough sleeping locations, so we built bunk beds. But because we worked with an engineer, a mathematician, and a sociopath, they're like, wait a minute, bunk beds are only for 2 people. We need more room. Can we build 3? They're like, that would just be a human shelving unit. I said, yeah, do that. The first bunk was here. The second bunk was here. And the third bunk was here. And they were dangerous. We all slept in these. And that's the setting I'm going to give you. Now, we're in a room smaller than a quarter of this stage. This is where the plot team slept. We had 1 human shelving unit, and off to the side, we had a twin bed that we stole from NIU, Northern Illinois University down the street. No one asked why or how we stole it, and that is not a story we can tell on this stage. But let's just say we had a twin bed, and don't tell the cops. My friends, Tim and Hannah, a married couple, were sleeping in their bed. Now, it was very warm that night. We're very close friends. And he warned us in a very strange way, I will be sleeping nude! Bask in my glory! And the rest of us being nerds doing, cool. I took the bottom bunk because I'm old, broken, and tall. My friend John, some of you may know him, is in the middle. And PHB, one of the smallest people who know. PHB stood for pale-haired bastard because he was half albino. He's all the way up on the top bunk. And finally, after 14 hours of beating the shit out of our friends, we've laid down to sleep. Now don't forget, there's only about this much room, and we put mattresses in for comfort. And as I'm laying there, feeling sleep wash over me like a friend, like a gentle wave. Like somebody who just peed in the pool, but it was kind of cold in the first place, so you're kind of relieved. But you still know it's pee. And then I was attacked by Godzilla. I thought it was Godzilla. To this day, I cannot properly describe the feeling of being this close to being unconscious and a June landing on your person. A June bug landed on me, and I shot up. This much room, don't get ahead of me. This much room. Bam! And I slammed my head into the bunk above me. At that noise, this terrifying loud noise, John shot up and slammed his head into the bunk above me. At that noise, I was terrified time, because now Godzilla has fun. I went to get out of the bed, and in front of me there was a board, and that soft spot that I had just formed, I went BAM! And I screamed in pain, to which PHB on the top bunk, trying to figure out what was happening, leaned over and his sleeping snake fell out of the bed. He fell directly in front of me, and I thought, oh shit, it's raining albinos! I don't know what to do! To get out of this bunk where I can help others! So I try to stand up and look at my body, my center of gravity, nowhere! I get off the floor like a turtle who's died. You wait for the vet to come and turn you into soup. And as I start to get up, there's only one place I can go, and that's forward. So head first, I go into the bed with my nude friend and his wife. I headbutted his ass. Tim is dying laughing. He is screaming out. John goes, how are you doing, Dad? And I go, Godzilla! And he goes, get away, man! Burrow into Tim's ass! It's the place of Hannah screams back at me, if you don't stop, it's on my husband! PHB asks if we have medical supplies, and John is just screaming, burrow, Dad, burrow! That's nice. I'm going to leave you with one thing. Just an example. Here's a story that Cocktail hates. Let me give you the story of why you should not volunteer for shit. I ran this campsite for a while. We needed something to do a little bit more. So what we ended up doing is allow a concert to come and play music. Did you see the money running across the stage? Music. Day one. Bill Humblett, who is, if I ate myself 3 times, that's how Bill looks. Is sitting in registration, the equivalency of that, waiting for people in, and a younger couple comes in, the guy walks up and says, I don't have enough money to pay for anything, but will this do? And his girlfriend lifted up his shirt for Bill, lifted up her shirt for Bill. And Bill said, mine are nicer, and lifted up his shirt for her. It was a good way to start the concert. We started having security problems right off the bat. And I don't mean like, people are kind of arguing over there. No. We caught 2 youths, and I say youths because they were under 18, with a Tupperware container with their mom's name written on it, filled with shrooms. Steve was mortified. He's like, how could you bring this many shrooms here? And I was dying. He's like, your mom's name is on the container. What is wrong with you? We can call her. So we confiscated the shrooms. They were delicious. That was the first of many instances. One of the best ones being we had to go deal with the problem, people being belligerent. And as we were standing there talking to these people, it's funny again, people, our golf cart goes off into the distance. We needed that. And there are 2 youths on the golf cart. We were a little worried about that, and Steve, being an athletic younger gentleman, went, I'll get it, and ran off after the golf cart. So a lot of people's always, all right, that's something to deal with later. Next incident. Now this is the same place we do the LARP. On the 4th of July every year, I put on a pyrotechnic show for the LARP. We don't always blow off all the fireworks, so we have a sealed shed that we keep everything in. Now they didn't take the little bottle rockets, they didn't take the Roman candles. They took the quarter sticks of dynamite and the aerial bombs. And as I'm standing there looking into this thing, terrified, all I hear is... The barn was broken into. All we have in there is like old boats, old toiletry supplies, like stuff for the campsite. A rowboat, and all the toilet paper. Gone. All I can think of, I don't know where they're going to shit, but they'll at least be clean. In the background. So finally, the night ended. Steve had given up trying to catch the golf cart. It was basically a race. It did run out of gas, and then Steve got it, and they were just running away. He left the golf cart, somebody came back with a tank of gas and drove home. Awesome. And as we were finally calling it a night, the lake exploded. They had taken my fireworks, put it into the rowboat, filled the bottom with the toilet paper, using the rest of the gas they used to get the golf cart going again, and a long wick lit it from the shore. And to this day, there is a tree on that campsite. There is a tree with part of a boat sticking out of it. And every time any convention chairman, any board of directors calls me and said, hey, would you help me out with my con? I said, in one moment, I've got to go see a tree about a boat. And I think, is it worth it? And then I think, it's a pretty damn good story. Ladies and gentlemen, always remember to volunteer for one reason. You're going to get a damn good story out of it. Guys, I just got to scratch something off my bucket list. I am honored, I am floored. There are so many people that I would love to thank right now, but that would go far too much into the next person said. So I'd like to introduce a very good friend of mine. Guys, I've watched these shows since I've joined the fandom and everything. Guys, this gentleman is one of the most talented people in the fandom, and it's my great privilege and honor to introduce to the Ranting Gryphon!
Ladies and gentlemen, Alkali! I don't run this con. I'm not on staff. I'm just a peon entertainer. However, it is my personal opinion, for what it's worth, that this guy needs his own show at this convention. That's just what I think. Big, come here, Big, you, come here, Big, come here, Big. So, I don't know if you guys, is it okay if I say a few? I don't know if you guys knew. I know you've seen him here before, doing ASL, but I don't know if you know what happened to him last year. He was on his way home, and here in Pittsburgh, and someone tried to kill him. He was stabbed in the chest. And he had a long recovery, which of course, being stabbed in the chest, his work, you can see it right now. This is what he does. In being stabbed in the chest, this is not easy to do. You're not going to be able to move like this. And he had a long recovery period, and it's so good to see him. We We're gonna give a little break. I'm gonna come back up here and I'm gonna do my set. I'm hopefully not gonna disappoint the hell out of you. So take a break or don't. Maybe I'll. Should I just stand up here doing? Alkali, where are you? Where are you, Alkali? So you're getting your 5-minute break, but we're gonna stand up here and do stuff during your 5 minutes. So yeah, your 5-minute break. What is that? Can I drink your friend? I like to drink friends. What other friends do we have back here? Oh, I see a really long friend. I've just found a very long friend back here. Can I drink this friend? I'm gonna drink this friend. Oh my goodness. You did a wonders. I get drunk in the story.
That's the end of our part of the story. The rest of a story that starts with I started drinking, I finished drinking, I ended the night usually has to be told by your friends who are around when you blacked out.
Yeah.
So he blacked out this one time.
Wait a minute now. If I did, I didn't know it, but then again, that would be a blackout.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
When we do our charity show on Sunday, can we have alkali up there too? Is that okay?
Find out what the audience thinks about that. I'm hearing a little bit of noise. I suppose maybe if they really wanted him. You guys are making him cry right now.
Now there's stories.
Alright, folks. What's that? Wine diaper.
It's a very young bottle of wine.
Apparently, very fresh. Absorb spills, leaves no mess.
What is wrong with you?
What are you into? Wine diapers? What is this alcoholic infantilist crap? What are you? You don't like the booze, baby?
No, give me the 5-year-old bottle of scotch.
Alright, I think it's probably time to take off on my thing. Alkali, you were amazing. Guys, this was his first solo show in front of a major audience. I'm gonna go finish this. Kaga and I have worked with Alkali plenty of times in improv and stuff, but this was his first solo thing. And gotta admit, we kind of pushed him into it. He didn't think he'd be able to do it. I think he did it. So, I'm just gonna get this right out. Does Donald Trump's mouth look exactly like an asshole? I mean, okay, making no judgment whatsoever to his character, if aliens who had no idea of our politics landed on Earth, they'd step out and be like, that dude's mouth looks just exactly like an asshole. I don't understand how that happens. And it's so funny because, you know, he's got these cheeks that kind of look like butt cheeks. And then he has this abomination puckering thing of a mouth, and it has a nose and eyes, and every time it opens, nothing but shit falls out of it. Donald Trump's face is an anthropomorphic asshole. He should build a wall around his face. I don't mind so much, though. Actually, I don't mind. Actually, I kind of like it if Donald Trump actually became president. I would kind of like that. Because as a stand-up comic, that would make my job easier than screwing a dead donkey in the back. I mean, you know, well, there it is. It's legal. Probably wouldn't have minded even when it was alive. Just lay down on it and wiggle, and that's where the magic happens. So, my name is the Ranting Gryphon. Wait. You gotta wait for it. You gotta wait for it. It's coming. You gotta wait for it. But no, I just want to welcome you to the Anthrocon experience. I don't want to call it Anthrocon anymore. I would call it the Anthrocon experience because Anthrocon isn't just an event. It's not just a place. It's a whole experience now. You know, imagine a hallucinogenic state of drunken starvation where your fondest dreams and your worst nightmares comes up and hugs you simultaneously on a dance floor surrounded by lasers and the stench of old pizza for 3 days before being vomited out on the streets feeling like you've been hit by a truck to send you home and explain the whole thing to your parents. That is the Anthrocon experience. And it's awesome. For all you Anthrocon noobs out there, how many people have never been to Anthrocon before? How many people have never been to one of my shows before? Holy shit. For all you noobs out there, just a heads up, this weekend in Pittsburgh will be the closest thing to Zootopia that you will ever get. With the exception of predatory animals going crazy and trying to, but no, we'll have that. With the exception of some very tightly wound drama of romance between foxes and rabbits and we'll have that too. With the exception of living in a small one-room apartment with very noisy gay neighbors who... The exception of naked elephants. No. Why isn't Anthrocon collecting royalties from Zootopia at this point? Because it seems to me that we've been doing this shit for years. I don't know about you. I loved Zootopia. I loved that film. I don't know about you guys. I loved it. There were people who loved Zootopia. Everybody in the damn room, shit. Who did not love Zootopia? And the three of you are gonna die, I'm pretty sure. No, I loved the film. It was awesome. It just, there were a few, the only thing I would change about it is there was a few details that I wish they'd gone into. You know, more details about certain things. Like, you know, it's like little things. Like, what happens when a horse farts in an elevator? Because that could kill things. Would it be illegal for a horse to fart in an elevator? You know? Where do camels buy their shirts? I wonder, what does a squirrel bra look like? I wanted to know these things. I wanted to see, you know, if they would show these things. And I think these are important questions. You know, like, you know, do cows drink their own milk? Do they just whip them out at the dinner table and create a cow juice holocaust right up there in the dinner? Do rabbits eat their own shit? They do in real life. Is it possible to go to a restaurant in Zootopia and say, yes, I'd like a plate of your finest rabbit shit, medium rare, please? I think, you know, it's these little questions that I wanted to, you know, have answered. Personal curiosities, things like that, you know? What do rhinoceros balls taste like? I'm personally curious about that. I think they should have covered that. And I know people are going to be like, dude, it was a Disney movie, children were there. Well, you know what? I think we coddle our children far too much. Okay? They need to grow up. All right? How are you going to be a well-adjusted, mature adult if you don't know what rhinoceros balls taste like? Exactly how long does it take for a sloth to jerk off? Are we talking like Lord of the Rings amount of time here? Does their whole face last for 45 minutes? I think as concerned citizens, these are questions that we deserve the answers to, you know? How big is the wet spot in your elephant's neck? Can you use it as a slip and slide? Can you just rope that off and charge mice to go in there and skate around? I think these are important things to know. Do they have conventions? Do they have conventions there where they go and they dress up like human beings? That's it. Anthrocon is exactly like Zootopia, with the exception of attendees who show up who dress like human beings. That is the only exception. Hang on a second here. Where's my, I'm gonna make myself open up comfortable here. And that's going to involve this. And that's going to involve this.
Oh crap.
I need to have a Gryphon to audience talk. Because late last year, I decided to start up a YouTube channel, and I wasn't, you know, doing a whole lot of stuff. I felt pretty bad. I felt like I couldn't fail everybody because I wasn't doing a whole lot of material for people. I started up this YouTube channel in June. And I kind of thought that everybody had forgotten about me. So I started the YouTube channel, and you guys surprised me. After 20 years in the fandom, you guys popped right back up, and you guys were like, thank goodness you're back, man. It's good to have you. And I was once again reminded of why I'm in the furry fandom, what family means. And at 45 years old, having been here 20 years, you know, you guys maybe here the first year, yeah, if you want, this place will be your family for life. And because of my YouTube channel, and because I have had a little bit less time, and because United lost my bags, and because of a few other things, I've had a bit of bad luck this weekend. my show tonight is not going to be entirely original. I've had some people telling me that I need to go back to some of my older stories and tell stories that they liked. Some of you may not have heard them, some of you may. But I wondered, I was hoping it was okay if I actually went back and just did some of the classic stuff that you guys have asked me to do, or that you may have not heard me do, and I hope that's okay. That's what I love about the furry fandom is, you know, the community. There's a lot of communities out there, and they're terrible to each other. They don't even care that, you know, the other people in the community are human beings. They consider a community a location, and in that location, they're going to stab each other and they're going to treat each other like total crap, but they still consider it a community because it's the same place. And that's what I love about the furry fandom, because we know that community is not held together by a location, but by porn. And that's just one of those things that we've gotten used to. Now, this first story I'm going to tell you it's, you know what? I'm going to ditch the story I wasn't going to tell you, just to be proud. I mean, this really happened, but I didn't plan to do this. But I'm sitting here staring at Uncle Kage. I want to tell a story about him. So, I'm going to do this off the cuff, okay? I haven't read this out, I haven't rehearsed this. I hope I don't screw this up. This is about the first time I actually spoke Japanese. There was one period of time I spoke Japanese, and it was in Australia. I know that sounds weird. However, myself, Uncle Kage, and a wonderful performer, I don't know if you guys seen him, named Sarjuan. Yes! You guys know Sarjuan. Bring him back! He was in Australia that weekend. We're all down there, we're all hanging out, and me and Kage are watching Sarjuan. He's juggling, he's doing things, and he's making everybody nervous, climbing on chairs, and Kage's hand is clamping down on my knee, but it's not because he's nervous, it's because Kage likes Egypt. Can't blame him, right? So, Kage's having a good time, I'm having a good time, except for my very, very, very sore knee. And Kage says, look, after we go out, after this performance, why don't you and me and Sergeant Bond and a couple of the guests go out and we will have some really awesome booze. And I went, wait a minute. You're inviting me out to have some really awesome booze. Okay, you know, I could plant a garden. I could watch the sunset. I could go out and try my very best to at least contribute to the curing of AIDS or cancer. I may not make it very far, but it would at least be a little bit. No, I'm gonna go out and have booze with you. So we went out. And Sergeant was amazing when he was going out, even walking along the streets. He had his balls, he was juggling them even as he was, you know, going towards the bar. And children were stopping him, and it was really amazing. So we get out to the bar, and we start to drink, which was a long process. We did it for a very long time. We drank for quite a while until it was funny. I've never seen someone not be able to walk but still be able to juggle babies. professional skill, but Sarjuan can do that. I've seen it. So, we're walking back. We get back to the hotel, and we get invited to the concierge's room party. Pizza and things like that. Now things are getting pretty dank, because we're drinking more, and people are and Kage, being the old man that he is, ducked out at an early time. I think it was like 10. He's like, I'm an old man, I have to. Stupid. You could have had sex. When you're an old man, you had to leave. That gets you out of more sex. Just, I'm an old man, I have to. I'm pretty sure that under his shirt, he's got like some electrodes on his thing. And I'm pretty sure all he would have to do to have sex is just turn the little box off, you know. He'd be a pretty dynamo, I'm pretty sure. So, Kage takes off. Now, I've never spoken Japanese in my life, and Sarjuan doesn't speak English. He keeps a translator with him. But I had a very meaningful conversation with Sarjuan, back and forth between me and him, and it amazed me. I spoke Japanese, it was so great, because I went over to him, and I looked at his translator, and I said, so, that was Uncle Kage, you know, what'd you think? And his translator turned toward Sarjuan, spoke Japanese, and Sarjuan turned directly to me, and he said, Asaholu! The first Japanese word I've ever understood in my life. Sarjuan and Uncle Kage are actually. Did you know about this story? You didn't know that happened? Oops. Got a few stories about your mom. Oh, wait, she's sitting right there. This may be my last year in Anthrocon. Yeah. Well, I may have his show at this point. I honestly hope that you guys are getting, that you're enjoying Anthrocon and having a good time, and that you're getting, the 621, 6 hours of sleep, 2 meals, 1 shower every day. If you haven't heard that, do it. 621 is great. It's awesome. I don't even though I hope you're getting good sleep, I know damn well you're not. But it really does depend on how you sleep. Because I've known some people that are just like, hey, you using that pile of gravel for anything? No. I can't do that though. That's not me, I can't do that. I have to have something soft to sleep on, and a pillow, and some quiet, or I can go to sleep. And I have to sleep in the same position too. I have to sleep on my back. Because if I roll over, my limbs will they will totally fall asleep. And I don't know why that happens, but it does. I mean, if you've ever had, it's because I'm built like a bulimic Keith Richards. I'm a skeleton guy here. You know, if two of me got together and had sex, it would sound like a bowling. So if I roll over in my sleep on my arm, it will go to sleep. And I don't know if you've had this, but if you've had your arm go dead asleep, the kind where you like touch it and it feels like someone else's hand, and then you quickly try to jerk off with it before flopping all over and you can't do anything. That will happen to me if I sleep on my arm wrong. And As innocent as that sounds, that is the direct reason that I did something that was so stupid that I should probably be dragged into the cliffs of dumbass and just thrown off. This is one of the reasons that I don't like to go camping. One of the many reasons. Because of my pickiness of sleeping, sleeping in the dark, in sleeping bags and stuff. And I was to my friend when he was trying to invite me out to go, camping and go devolve over the weekend. Because this to me it seems like what camping is about. Going out to devolve. This is the purpose. We gotta go out and we have to go into the woods and turn back into monkeys. Or at least something that resembles an auto mechanic in Mississippi, something. We have to go back and we have to devolve, this is the point. And, first of all, I wonder, what is it exactly that we're devolving to? Why are we grabbing onto these attributes? What exact benefits do we have of going back in time? Like, we were dirty, we were stupid, and we had hair in a lot of disgusting places. Just move to Arkansas. Hang on a second. I apologize if I have to look up a few notes because I had an interesting last few days. I may actually do that. I'm going to blame it all on United.
Sorry.
United people like And what so my friend comes up to me and he's like, hey, let's go out to the woods and sleep there. And I said, why? Now, I've noticed that, this is a devolution type of thing. And I don't know where it comes from, but people seem to have this thing of, let's go out to the woods and let's go back to our roots. So I said, why? Why are we going to go out and sleep in the woods? And he said, because it'll be fun. And I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we start building houses thousands of years ago because sleeping in the woods wasn't any fun? He said, you know what, you need to get away from all this. You need to come out, no TV, no internet, no cell signal, nothing. Just come on out and you'll love it. And I started thinking, did cavemen do this too? Did they actually try and go out and devolve? And how did they do that? Did they just walk out of the caves like, come on, you know what, let's take the kids and let's just crawl back into the swamp for the weekend. No fire, no wheels, it'll be great. Because we do have people in this country who live up in the hills in hand-built cabins, no electricity, no internet, nothing like that, and even they know better than to go and sleep outside. These are the people who wander down from the hills to the campsites and go, what y'all doing sleeping in the dirt? Ain't you never heard of Serta? We're having fun. Yeah, whatever, dumbass. Whatever happened to jerking off? So, but my friend insisted that he had found a really nice place for us to go and that I would really love it. So I got my tent. People, they tell me I cheat. They tell me I'm cheating. They say I don't know how to camp. Because I set up a tent that's bigger than my house. 12 rooms, full carpeting, inflatable furniture, wireless internet, video games, flat screens, the works. Usually by the time I'm finished transferring my garbage service and connecting the water pipes, the whole weekend is over and I have to take the whole thing down and bring it back with me. So I'm gonna go out and do this, and I agree to it. And he takes me out, and you know what? It wasn't actually a really nice place. It was. I was surprised. Gotta give him credit for that. There was a river, and it was a lot of hills, and it was autumn, so it was like, you know, all the Ozark mountains with the colors and stuff like that. And so I start setting up my tent. Well, I start setting up my tent, and inside my tent, moving things around. My friend rings my doorbell. And he says the fireplace has started up and we gotta go eat. I found out that part of the ritual of this devolving involves eating foods that make you shit explode. If you're not shitting like Joan Rivers talks, then you're not having a good time. So what you gotta do is you gotta take a hot dog and you gotta cover it with chili and onions and then mustard and then bacon and then ice cream and then slices of a mushroom you found growing under a dead squirrel. And then you have to drink beer. So I got on my nice metal hot dog skewer and I was like, all right, here we go. And apparently I was doing it wrong there too, because it's like, no, you gotta use a stick. Because as we all know, you know, it was common for a Neanderthal man to actually use crude sharpened sticks to cook the hot dogs they bought at the store. Over a campfire started by Ronson lighter fluid and a Zippo. So after a lecture about how hot dogs just aren't as manly unless they have chunks of wood in them, I grabbed a stick and we cooked it and we ate that stuff and then we drank this foul yellow liquid, apparently handed down by a god named Budweiser. We're not certain if this is actually what Neanderthal man drank, but we've observed enough in trailer parks to assume that they did. Now the next stage in this devolution, ritual, was to sit there and talk. And wait for dinner to explode out of our asses. And that's the part where I actually found out the one thing about camping that I don't mind at all. And that's the wild animals. The animals running around. They don't bother me. Because as we were sitting there comparing sexual conquest and battle scars, some little furry creature scurried outside the campsite, and my friend jumped into a tree pretty much. And that's where I first started to feel these roots. Because I went, you wimp! Talking about all this manly stuff and now you're scared off by a little furry animal. Well, he didn't like that very much. And, he told me that, if one of those little furry creatures gets into my tent, then they grip me in the ass. I was like, and after a little bit, we went off throughout the little tents to get some sleep, and I'm crawling into the bed. I used the master bedroom this time. Only brought the queen size, but just laying there thinking, scared off by a cute little. And that thought had to be stopped. I had to put a pin in that because at that moment I had to get up, run to the and find a safe place for my ass to explode. And I might as well blow an entire country out of my ass. There was more shit than there was me. And I don't know how. I don't know how it happened. And that's where my problems really started, because every time I went back to the tent, I'd lay down, and 5 minutes later I'd have to get back up, run into the woods, and blow another country out of my ass. They're gonna have to rearrange our maps now. Because I was like, Botswana, Ecuador, Guatemala, Guam, United States. I must have wrecked at least 10 square miles of wilderness with my ass. After the 39th time this happened, I wasn't even closing the tent flap anymore because I knew I was going to have to just jump right out of it. And I wasn't even going back to bed anymore. Because I knew I would just have to get back up. So I was just sitting in the inflatable anymore. I swear to you, I had an inflatable. I swear, that's not a dork I had inflatables. Because I didn't want to get back up out of bed, so I just sit in the chair and wait for the next wave. I fell asleep. I fell asleep in the chair in a rather precarious position. And I don't know how long I slept, but it was at least a few hours. When I woke up, campfire was out, and there, there's no crackling. The moon was in a different place, and I looked, and I noticed the tent flap was open, just flapping in the breeze. I was like, I should probably close that. So I started to get up to go and close the tent flap, and something warm and heavy landed in my lap. Now, everything that I'm about to tell you from this point on happened in the span of about 20 seconds. Brain goes, danger, wild animal in lap. Holy crap. Face will be dead. You do not need this. Bad for you. Must do something! And so, in just a flash, trap brain considered every option. Grabbing the creature with my lightning quick reflexes and throwing it out of the flap, to using my keen powers of empathy to reason with the beast. But in the end, I thought it best that I stay in the spirit of the camp, which was devolved. So, I screamed like a bitch. I screamed like a pygmy giving birth to a rhinoceros. It echoed over the Ozark Mountains. The people in the cabins were like, you hear that, son? That's the sound of a city boy being attacked by a cute, fluffy animal. And then I decided to devolve even beyond a monkey by blabbering incoherently and beating the shit out of my lap. Even a monkey won't do that. So I knocked the thing out of my lap, I heard it hit the chair, and dived toward the floor. Now the next stage of my brilliant plan was to dig around in the dark and find the rubber mallet that I used to drive in the tent posts, and swing it around indiscriminately until everything on the planet was dead. But I didn't get a chance to do that because as I got on the floor, somewhere around it ran past me and pushed past my leg. And at this point, I wasn't in control of my body. My legs went, should we get this dumbass out of here? Yeah, hell yeah. And I found myself flying in this doomed half-gainer across the tent. Now, I could have used my natural grace and my ability to adjust myself and land perfectly on my feet. But in the nature of the camp, I landed on my ass, slid against the tent wall, and collapsed the entire north wing, including the billiard room and the library. So I feel around and I found the mallet, I picked it up, and I turned around, ready for it. And it jumped at me, it hit me, right here. It went, and I swung at it, and I hit it, because I heard it crunch. But that didn't stop it, because I turned around and on this side, and it swung again. And for the next few seconds, we took turns back and forth, it hitting me, and me swinging and hitting it, and not knowing what the hell's going on. It was like going for my kidneys. It was like a little furry kamikaze. It was like, don't die! Don't die! So after a few minutes of this, standing there, everything is quiet. I thought, I killed it! And I started searching around the tent for a dead raccoon or something, because I had the strange urge to carry it back to my tribe and cook it. And as I was doing that, my other arm started to wake up. And the first thing I felt was pain. The kind of pain as if someone had been beating it with a hammer. And for the first time in my life, I actually considered simply walking into the ocean and never coming back. Because it would be easier than accepting the fact that I had just been attacked by and subsequently beat the shit out of my own dead asleep arm. Came by, said, I heard you sleeping last night, what happened? I said, a raccoon got in my tent, and I killed it. He looked at my arm, which was kind of definitely bruised and a little bit bloody, and he's like, the raccoon did that? And I said, nope, that was the raccoon. Actual true story. I'm too old. I have an amount of responsibility. Are you Am I what? Am I with Kage?
Are you Uncle Kage?
Am I Uncle Kage?
Yeah.
If I was Uncle Kage, I'd be about, what, 50 years old? And a lot drunker. And a lot more perverted. Be wearing a lab coat with cookies coming out from under it. I got to meet a guy. I don't know, you guys might get to meet him at some point. Named Jeff Good. I hear some people out there who knows how this is going to be. Jeff Good he's a playwright. He's a writer and he writes plays, and I had to meet this guy. He was the creator of the American Dragon series on Disney Channel. You guys does anyone know that? Well, I was going to get to meet this guy, right? And I knew I had to meet him. He was at a convention, he was a guest out west, and I saw his name on the bill as like Jeff Good, creator of American Dragon on Disney Channel, also, you know, Puna the Sex Dog and other plays for children. That's not a lie. That was, you know, once upon a time. I actually got a signed copy of a play he wrote called The Eight. And it's a play that happens on stage where actors dress up as reindeers and they portray this court trial where all of the 8 reindeers of Santa come on and actually are testifying against him in a sexual abuse case. And so I'm like, yeah, I gotta meet this guy. I gotta find out what this guy's about, you know, I have to meet him. So, but, what do you say to a guy like this? I mean, it's like, that was my problem. It's like, I don't know how to meet this thing. You don't just go up to a guy like this and be like, hey, written dragon porn. You want some? You don't do that, so I'm up in my room and I'm trying to think of a way something to say to meet this guy. And I eventually come up with, it's like, why don't I just be cute about it? It's like, why don't I go up to him and be all like, Godfather or something. It's like, hey, I tell you what, hey, Jeff, good, Mr. Good, hey, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. I'll buy you a beer and you drink it. Thought, yeah, that was cute. I'll do that. Stand out a little bit. I was up in my room practicing that in the mirror. It's like, I'll buy you a beer and you drink it, okay? You drink. I'll buy you a beer. You drink all that shit, okay? And so I'm up there, but the problem with Jeff Good was that he was not easy to find. Because most people who invited to guest of honor at conventions, they walk in and, instantly they need 6 months of therapy to make the nightmares go away. Jeff Good, he walked in, saw the people with the ears and the tails and the suits and went, party! And he was gone. You couldn't find the man anymore. He was out of there. He was actually, he was on some of the panels and everything, but he was in the dances, and he was hanging out at the first. He was hiding from the furry. He was hiding from the staff of the con, so he could continue hanging out with the furs. This is how cool this dude was. So it was really hard to find him. And here it is, it's Sunday night. Well, it's Sunday afternoon. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy, I haven't seen him yet. This may be my last chance. And I had a friend who was in the room with me. And I'd heard a rumor that Jeff Good was down in the hotel restaurant. He was having lunch with some fans talking about the show. And this could be the last chance. My friend was going to leave, so I said, look, if you go down there and you see Jeff Good, tell him I'd like to talk to him, and I may come down there in a few minutes. Now, I love furries. I love them so much. The furry fandom took a pretty much 23-year-old kid that was me. He just wanted to make people smile, had no friends, and put me up on this stage for years. I will never forget the furry fandom for that as long as I live. Generous, intelligent people I know are in the furry fandom. But some of you guys have the communication skills of a quadriplegic brick. My messenger went down to the restroom. I remember all I said was, if you see him down there, tell him I'd like to talk to him and I may come down there. My messenger marches up to Jeff Good's dinner table, and he says, Two says he wants to see you. Now, I didn't know this, but Jeff Good already knew who I was. He looked in the program just like I did. And he'd seen my name and that I was going to do comedy, and he asked people who I was. The problem was that every furry he asked about this said pretty much two things. One, to the Ranting Gryphon is somebody who is very important in fandom. People listen to him and don't ever piss him off. These were the three things that Jeff Good knew about me that day as he was sitting at dinner. So, the other furries turn pale. And they look at Jeff Good like, you have been summoned. Now, Jeff Good played it off. He played it off pretty good, like he should. He's like, you know what? Well, okay, maybe I'll talk to this guy, but I'm going to finish my dinner first. The other furries gasped. One of them even apparently said, "This shit ain't good enough to be my last meal." For all they knew, I was going to call Jeff Good up to my room to beat his head in with a soccer punch because I didn't like one of the episodes he made. They had no idea. So my messenger goes away. 5 minutes later, he comes back. Right at the table, and he says, Two says he may have to come down to me. The other furries begin to move their chairs from Jeff Good. Jeff Good, he told me this later, now had the distinct impression that there was a furry mafia and that I was the boss. So I'm up in my room, 15, 20 minutes has gone by. I get a knock on the door, and I go and I open the door, and there is this pale, trembling mess of a man that is Jeff Good. And he said, "You wanted to see me, sir?" "Come on and sit down, man." And he came in and he sat down. I sat down next to him and I said, "I'm gonna make you an offer." And legends about why Jeff Good was hanging out of my hotel room window that night. But that is the true story. Thank you. Oh man. I'm trying to think of good stories to tell before I indoctrinate y'all. Wait for it. Wait, just wait for it. What time is it? I don't want to go over.
7:53.
You got until 8:30, right?
Mayor's name Bob.
I think you have until 8:30. I have until 8. Then I want to get confirmation from the man down here. I want 8? Can you give me 8:10? Okay. All right. We got another 10 minutes. And I'm glad that we have another 10 minutes because, ladies and gentlemen, I did not bring you here to talk about trouble. I did not bring you here to talk about I didn't bring you here to talk about any kind of political mess that's going on right now. I didn't bring you here to give you bad news. I have brought you here to give you good news. Because you may be a member of the Democratic Party. You may be a member of the Republican Party. You may even be a member of the Libertarian Party. But tonight, want to encourage you to come and join the giraffe party. Can I hear a break? Because we may be surrounded on one side by an Oompa Loompa with a toupee, and on the other side by the reincarnated guts of Voldemort. But it is only through Great Giraffe that we will find the truth and balance. It is only through Great Giraffe that we will find the answers to the questions that are posed in this very confusing and threatening time. Some people think that equality is a problem. I have the pre-bull right here. It's one day. Give me a damn. These pages are not cooperating with my ass. One page there. I have the pre-bull, at least when I wrote. I didn't what Great Giraffe wrote on the Some people think, in the matters of equality, that some people have too much, and some people think that other people have too little. First Teasabone, chapter 12, verse 2. For I say to you, do not cast envy toward another creature for their shape, or their size, or their color, as I have created each of you with your own attributes, and you are an equal part of the great circle. Indeed, envy is like the fire that sweeps across the savannah, and every creature, great and small, look the same when they are on fire. There is a problem with equality. Some people think that some people believe have too much, some people have too little. Well, oh wait, I said equality already. It needs to be doubly emphasized. I got it directly from Great Giraffe. Some people believe there's a problem with oversensitivity. Some people believe that other people are spoiled and entitled. And other people believe that they have legitimate complaints. Elizabeth chapter 4, verse 21. And so it came to pass that the sheep lifted his complaint to the heaven, even as he stood in a vast field of fresh green grass, and said, the cow has hurt my feelings, O Great Giraffe. I have become triggered. And Great Giraffe appeared to the sheep and spoke, saying, cast thine gaze upon the yonder plains in which I grow my fox, and see that they are buried. Some people believe that there is a problem with transgender bathrooms. Some people think that this is a good thing, and some people think that it's a bad thing. Zootopia chapter 6, verse 3. It says, be not mindful of the creature who squats next to you in the field where you drop the deuce. For in that time, you are of the same spirit and face the same challenge and struggle. For dropping the deuce is the great equalizer. unless Chipotle has been partook. For then that struggle shall be much greater. I hear some of you all come to me. I hear there's some followers of Great Giraffe out there right now. Am I correct? Great. And some of you are following the edict of Great Giraffe to, display your spiritly attributes on this planet as you do. But some people have come to me and they said, what does that mean? How do I display my spiritual life? What does Great Giraffe want of me as a planet? And I believe the answers are in the very first chapter of the Great Reading. Great Giraffe, chapter 1, verse 1. In the time of the void, there was no sin. I gotta make up some shit for when I screw up. In the time of the void, there was no ground to stand on, no air to breathe, no grass to eat, no Starbucks to drink. Only the present Great Giraffe. She saw that it was formless and wished for something to upon which to stand. So Great Giraffe kicked her heels and did a backflip and said, and thus formed the land. And she walked over the fields and the mountains and the oceans. Then Great Giraffe saw that there were no mountains. So Great Giraffe kicked her heels and did a backflip and said, breathe. And over the ground grew gnomes of all types, rich grass, and fruits and grains and double bacon cheeseburgers. But Great Giraffe saw that she had created too many gnomes for her to eat. So she wished for other creatures with which to share the gnomes. Thus, she bent her infinitely long neck over the face of the waters and the surface of the world, and she began to sing. A is for antelope. You spring in the air. B is for bat. You get stuck in our hair. C is for cheetah. You're fast on your feet. D is for dragon. You also court me. E is for elephant. A great heavy load. F is for fox. Your nose will explode. G is for grizzly, a great vicious bear. H is for horse, you dangle down there. I is for ibis, you eat all the fish. J is for jackals, on walls in Egypt. K is for kangaroo, avoid cars, you oughta. L is for lion, Hakuna Matata. M is for meerkat. You're thin as a rail. Can I remember the next one without turning the page? Oh, yeah. M is for narwhal. A unicorn whale. O is for honor. Wash the food you have taken. P is for pig. You will become bacon. Q is for quail. You live in the rocks. R is for rhinos. You have massive horns. S is for snake. You move without feet. T is for tiger. You block for retweets. U is for Ikari. Your face is bright red. V is for vulture. Your dinner is dead. W is for wolf. You run in a pack. X is for Xanthus. A strange kind of yak. Y is for Yabby. You're fried in a wok. Z is for zebra. You're cursed by Chris Rock. And so I breathe life into every creature. Go forward and live, and let life be your teacher. From the tall to the short, to the thin to the wide, from the fiercest of beasts to the small and the shy. This is now your home, and you must share it all with those you adore and those you appall. So pay heed and listen to my holy song. Be happy together, and do get along. That's my show. So, if you would, as likely possibly don't have to park like you do on that, park, grab your stuff, the staff very much appreciated. Thank you very much.